Hello and welcome into the latest edition of ESPN FC. I'm Kay Murray, joined by Alejandro Moreno and Stevie Nicol as well. Doesn't have the dazzly, sparkly tie today, but it's not bad.
It'll do, I suppose.
It will do. OK, let's get started with Super Cup action. We did get to see PSG taking on Aston Villa. 2-1 it would end, and that is PSG with more silverware to add to the cabinet. And the second of their UEFA Super Cup titles. They're the 12th club to win multiple UEFA Super Cup titles on the list there, with the likes of Real Madrid and Milan. We welcome in Don Hutchison now to talk more about what we saw today. Don, what did you make of that game?
I thought it was a good game. I thought the youngsters for Villa were outstanding. I thought Hemmings was really, really good. Maggio looks like a real promising player at 17. He's got something about him. He's physical. As you said, he put himself in some really good positions, scored a really hard goal, as Ali said. But, you know, you look at this PSG side and they've just got class. They're not even at full speed. It's probably a pre-season game for them. I thought Kvaratskhelia, on and off the ball, was the best player on the pitch. And then when you start bringing the likes of Dembele off the bench and you start making changes and the squad just never seems to get weakened when, you know, the coach makes changes. I thought it was a pretty routine performance from PSG, even though Villa had probably a good 15-minute spell just before half-time.
PSG. We're going to see a lot more of what we saw in Europe last year from them this year. Do you think, Ale, the signs there?
Yeah, and I guess the question that we could ask of PSG is, can they get off to a better start than what they have in years past? And that, I think it's something that Luis Enrique has stressed in his press conferences, talking about how do you motivate a team that has achieved so much, and yet you need to get their interest up, and then you need to get their intensity and urgency up in the start of the season. And I must say, I agree with Don in the sense that it felt like a preseason match for PSG, while it didn't for Aston Villa. It felt like for Aston Villa it was a competitive match, whereas for PSG it's like, well, I guess we sort of have to be here, so if we're going to be here, then we might as well win this. When they sped up the possession, or they sped up the game, or they decided to go on the attack with numbers, so they decided that now they're about to create, it seemed like they were at a different level than Aston Villa. But for the most part, it felt like they were just comfortable with the possession of the ball. They were comfortable with, you know what, let's just take the game into the attacking half. Let's not allow Aston Villa to build any sort of momentum. Aston Villa did have chances. Hemmings should have scored right after Desiree Doué scored the second goal. There was a chance for Hemmings in which he hits it straight at Safonov. But for PSG, it just feels like there's so much more that they can give, and still they're good enough to win.
Yeah, we know that they are the team to beat in Europe. That's what we've seen over the last two seasons. When it comes to if you're on to Champions League and you go to win a third straight, this is the list of three-peats so far. Real Madrid in it, of course, the last team to do it, but the rest of the teams who've been able to and who haven't been able to, can PSG join the yeses on that list this season, Stevie?
Please tell me who is going to knock them off the perch. At the end of the day, we saw again today what this team's capable of whenever they want to change gear, which is what they did. Yes, if you're Villa, you can talk about the chances you had and the chances you missed and blah, blah, blah. But the truth is, at times when they wanted to, as Ali said, PSG are on a different planet. They really are. The way they play the ball, the way they pass the ball, the movement, the individual skills that they have with different players. I mean, they have a little bit of everything. You know, if you want to be critical, yes, they give a lot of chances away. But you know what? At the end of the day, whenever they're in the mood and whenever they're ready to, they just create and score goals for fun. So, again, to answer your question, please tell me who's going to knock them off the perch, because I don't see anybody knocking them off the perch.
Yeah, same question for you, Don.
Well, there's a few contenders. I mean, Arsenal took them to penalties last year. I think Real Madrid will be stronger this year. I think Barca have been in and around it for the last couple of seasons. I agree with the lads, though. I think if you micro-analyse it and you look at the teams that are getting closer, Bayern seem to be back, I think the best version of PSG beats them all. But the Champions League's a competition where, you know, I seen Real Madrid win it, you know, so many years on the spin, but a couple of those years, they were gone in about the quarterfinals, but they had a moment to get them through. The Man City game comes to mind. I think Chelsea had them beaten in the same competition, same year. I think PSG had them beaten, but you know, they found a way, Real Madrid, that year, just to find moments in the game later on to win it. So I think the teams are getting closer. I think there's some serious contenders, the 2 Spanish sides and 1 or 2 English sides. But if they're all playing to their maximum, I think PSG are still the best side.
Christian Romero set to join Atletico on a €40 million transfer fee. And Jed Spence on his way to Inter, €31.5 million for his transfer fee. What are you making of this? I suppose we are seeing Roberto De Zerbi restructuring his squad now.
I look at those and I think that's not hurting them. That's the first thing that comes to my head. Either of those 2 players not starting for Spurs doesn't affect the outcome for Spurs this season. That's exactly how I feel about it. And they've spent a lot of money, and clearly they're looking to try and get some back. And Christian Romero's time, I think, was up at Spurs regardless of who the manager was or whatever. So that's a good 40 million for him. And 31.5 million for Jed Spence, I think, is a good return on what they paid for him as well. So I have no problem with this from a Spurs point of view. I don't think either of these players go and hurts them in any way, shape or form.
I know we're shaping this conversation from a perspective of Spurs, but if there was ever, and I mean ever, a Diego Simeone player, it's Christian Romero.
Yeah.
It just fits the whole profile of what a Diego Simeone player should be and a Diego Simeone team should be. Christian Romero, love him, hate him, whatever you may think about him, you have a strong opinion on Christian Romero. But what you cannot deny is that you watch him play for Argentina in the World Cup and you go, man, there is something about this player. Now, I imagine that Diego Simeone can get that from him consistently at Atletico Madrid without the craziness, without the madness, without the moments in which everything just kind of gets blurry for him and he just decides to go with an incredible, crazy, irresponsible challenge or irresponsible behavior. If Diego Simeone can temper that, which I think he could, maybe, potentially, then it all makes sense for Atletico Madrid to get a player like Christian Romero, to get some more of that nastiness that I think this team has lost defensively.
How about leopard and spots?
Okay. All right. Whatever that means.
A leopard never changes its spots.
I know.
Let's stick with the Spurs side of this, if we can, with you, Don. Christian Romero and Jed Spence leaving here. That's obviously big amounts for players who've gone to good teams here in Atleti and Inter. Do you think, like Stevie, that they won't be missed at Spurs?
In the starting 11, they won't be missed. I mean, Romero misses a lot of games because he's either suspended or injured. He's not a miss whatsoever. I think sometimes he's a liability. And I laughed when Ali talked about, Atletico Madrid signing. He's perfect. He's like Jimenez or he's like Godin back in the day where there were just nasty defenders. I guarantee you, and anyone who's watched the Atleti sides or Romero play, he will have red cards written all over him because that's how he plays. He's emotional. He's always on the edge. I think Jed Spence is an interesting one. He's probably not going to get the game time unless he played at left back because Pedro Porro's the right back, so he's not going to get in at right back. I think it makes sense for Inter to buy him. They lost Enzo Dumfries to Real Madrid, so it feels like that's a plug-in player that you just drop from Spurs, Jed Spence, straight into the Inter Milan team, and you think, yeah, that feels like a good fit. So I think both players moving on will be happy with their moves. And I think, as Stevie said, Spurs have spent an awful lot of money, time now to recoup some of that.
And don't forget that Denzel Dumfries has gone to Real Madrid from Inter, so which then that opens a natural position for Jed Spence. Am I wrong in thinking that Jed Spence was actually one of the players that, when I watched England in this World Cup, he stood out? I don't know that Spurs are in a position to just let a young guy like this walk out the door. That's all I'm saying. I thought I saw some signs from Jed Spence in the World Cup that showed me some personality and showed me a little bit of life and a little bit of something that was different from everybody else. I don't know that if I'm Spurs, I'm in a position to just let this guy walk out the door.
The thing with Jed Spence is, and particularly with England was all about energy and power and strength. And so he did stand out because he's full of energy and strength and runs, and he'll run all day for you. Just wind him up and let him go. But when it comes down to quality, final pass, creating anything like that, for me, it's not there. And I think it's reflected. Let's be honest. All the transfers this summer that we've been talking about how crazy the money is, but yet he's going for 31 million. It seems not a lot, but I think that reflects his ability on the ball as opposed to his energy.
Yeah, I wondered what Stevie was going to say there, whether he had indigestion or he just disagreed with what you were talking about. But now I have my answer, don't I? Yeah, stay up to date with all the transfers over on our website. Here's some notable ones for you today. Pep Chavarria joining Chelsea from Rayo. Romelu Lukaku, can we have a...
Lukaku?
Oh, the OG. The OG came back, baby.
From Napoli. Dusan Vlahovic joining Besiktas from Juventus. And Xavi Hernandez signing as the Netherlands head coach through 2030. Okay, let's move on to talk about Julian Alvarez. Lots of talk about his face-to-face meeting with Diego Simeone. Atletico seemingly digging their heels in. They do not want him to go to Barcelona. He is high on the wish list. Let's talk to Gemma Soler, who has a little bit more news about everything here. Gemma, great to see you. Are Barcelona actually optimistic that they can get this done before the transfer window closes? Because we do see and hear that Atleti are in no hurry to let this player go.
Well, Kay, they are still confident. They think this game is not over yet. I don't think they can say optimistic because actually this poker game started 6 months ago in March, and what they still have is a poker face from Atletico. But they think after this face-to-face encounter that happened earlier today, there was a 10 minutes cordial chat between Diego Pablo Simeone and Julian Alvarez. They think that this is not over yet, that the player can still do things. He asked Diego Pablo Simeone, as he previously done to Atletico de Madrid, his departure, that he wants to go to FC Barcelona, and they think that there are things that the player can decide to be able to achieve that. Actually, earlier today in that training at the Atletico de Madrid training ground, there was also Fernando Hidalgo and Sergio Diaz, they're the managers of the agents of Julian Alvarez, so they still think there's something to be done. But of course, it's not the position that Barcelona wanted because they have been working so hard to get this transfer.
If they don't get him, Gemma, what's the plan B?
This is a very good question, because if this is not happening and Ferran today with a special permit didn't go to training and he's finishing his signing with PSG, this means that it's 40 goals Barcelona are missing between Lewandowski and Ferran Torres. So, of course, there needs to be a plan B. The thing is that it is impossible to get a name that has credibility from Barcelona. They only say that Julian Alvarez is plan A and the only plan. They also praise a lot Hamza El Karim, this Egyptian young forward, that he has been doing great. It's a pure striker, a pure number 9, and Hansi Flick speaks really good about him. But something changed in Barcelona this last year. They made a lot of changes in the board of members. They have access to signings, also to the press officers and everything. And the signings are not getting linked at all. We found out about Anthony Gordon the same day it has happened. Adeyemi was the same. Actually, about Araujo's departure was the same. So we all think that there is a plan B being worked by Deco and by President Laporta. Some names that are on the table: Oyarzabal, this looks very difficult, the Real Sociedad striker. Some names, there's always the players linked to Jorge Mendes for the good relation. So you can think about Rafael Leao, Osimhen, and some others. Some pipe dreams that have been in the table for Barcelona are, of course, Lautaro Martinez and Harry Kane. But this, of course, looks extraordinarily difficult for Barca.
But how would Barca fare without a Julian Alvarez coming in? If Ferran Torres is going, how are they going to look then? Could they manage without those players?
Well, they could manage, but what does managing mean? They're going to win a bunch of games still, but you have to have a presence, an attacking presence down the middle. And what you have is a bunch of guys that are tweeners, guys that you can put in that position, but they're not really strikers down the middle. So that's Karim Adeyemi, that is Dani Olmo, Anthony Gordon, guys that you can put there and just kind of cover a hole here and there, but they are far more effective going elsewhere on the field. It would be negligent from Barcelona, negligent, if they don't have a second option already in mind and already talked about and discussed if the Julian Alvarez thing falls through. If it's not going to happen, you have to have a plan ready to go. If if you don't have a plan ready to go, if Julian Alvarez doesn't work out, then you're not doing your job if you're Barcelona. And Deco and everybody else that is part of his office, you're not doing your job. It is clear from the perspective of Atletico Madrid that they think they have all the cards. And why do they think they have all the cards? Because Barcelona have played their cards. With Ferran Torres walking out the door potentially, and then you have Robert Lewandowski already gone, Atletico Madrid knows that you're in need, that you're desperate. And if you're desperate, you start reaching. And so we're just going to sit right here and see what you do next. We don't want this player to leave, so make us want this player to leave. And so then it's the responsibility of Barcelona to come up with an offer that Atletico Madrid simply cannot refuse.
It kind of feels as they don't get Julian Alvarez. And I know they've signed Gordon, they've signed Adeyemi, but if they don't get Julian Alvarez, it seems as though they've gone backwards. That's how I feel about it. You know, you look what's going on at Real Madrid with Mourinho coming in, Vinny signing, Diamandi's signing. It almost feels as though Barcelona are kind of going the wrong way if they don't get Alvarez, which I don't think they will.
So wouldn't it make more sense then, Gemma, just to be sure and to omit any uncertainty to try and keep hold of Ferran Torres?
Yeah, but the thing is that it's very difficult for Barcelona when a player wants to go and PSG is around the corner to keep that player, because Ferran Torres had only 1 year contract left, and they thought it was not wise to keep a player. This happened before with Ousmane Dembélé. He wanted to leave, Barcelona retained him, and then he left for free. So there needed to be negotiations with the extension of Ferran contract. They thought it would be extremely difficult. There is also the signing of Rodri involved, because there is a clause in the Ferran Torres contract that they need to pay Man City. So eventually they decided that if a player wants to go with only 1 year contract left, it's more wise to let him go and try to find a pure number 9.
Anything to say on that, LA?
I don't think as a club you can afford to get yourself into a corner. And this is what Barcelona have done here, in that, as I mentioned before, they've already made it clear that, all right, well, you know, Ferran wants to go, there's nothing we can do about it, there's only 1 more year left in the contract, let's make the most money that we can out of the player. Okay, fine, that's the decision that you've made, so be it. But make that decision knowing full well that the guy that you're bringing in is actually coming in. Not, like, if we're asking ourselves what's more likely to happen, and I guess I'll ask Gemma that, what's more likely to happen? I don't want to do your job here, okay?
Great.
But
go ahead,
it's a question for Gemma, that what's more likely to happen, for Julian Alvarez to be playing for Atletico Madrid or to be playing for Barcelona this season?
So, of course, it's easier to think that he will stay at Atletico Madrid, but there are still some chances he can still go on a rebellion, and some stuff happens. Is what you ask Barcelona, they think this poker game is still not over. I think if we talk about percentage, there is more that he stays in Atletico, but I've seen Barcelona do impossible things, so we will see.
Stevie, when Gemma was talking at the top of the show, something made you chuckle. Can you remember what it was?
No, I was thinking about Julian Alvarez. It goes back to me. He made the wrong decision going to Atletico Madrid in the first place. It all stems from that. You know, a guy who could have started for nearly every team on the planet, but he chose to go to a team who everybody knows start the season in third spot and are expected to be third, and who are not going to win the Champions League. And he chose to go there, and now he's throwing his dummy out the pram because he doesn't get the move he wants. When he's never going to get... How are Atletico Madrid supposed to let one of their best players, their goal scorer, the guy he spent, 75 million on, and let him go to either Real Madrid or Barcelona? How are they supposed to be... How can they look their fans in the face and say they've just handed Julian Alvarez to our 2 biggest rivals for the tournament, for the one tournament that we have a real, maybe an opportunity to win? Because he ain't winning the Champions League. So, Julian Alvarez right now is paying for the mistake he made in the first place, leaving Man City to go to Atletico Madrid.
And now Gemma's smiling at what you're saying. Why are you smiling, Gemma?
No. I was thinking that probably when Julián decided to leave Man City to Atletico de Madrid, there were some promises made, not of course about titles, but the way of playing, the way he would feel, the environment of the team. And I guess the way this team plays, he thinks is not the best fit for him. I agree that maybe was not the wisest decision to leave a team like Man City, the way of playing, to go to Atletico. It's been 2 seasons, promises have not been accomplished in the way this team plays and how uncomfortable he feels there, and he asks for a departure.
Yeah, I wonder if this goes back to remember when Julián Álvarez got taken off the field and it's like, siempre a mí, it's always me, siempre a mí. I wonder if any of that just lingers and he's like, I've had enough of this. But the problem is, you put pen to paper, you sign a contract. And just like the teams are responsible for a contract, you are also responsible to deliver on the contract. And so, unless he just pitches a fit, and Diego Simeone has enough of it, I just don't see where this goes forward for Julián Álvarez, nor for Barcelona for that matter.
Yeah, he could do a big documentary called The Decision and announce it that way.
Yes.
Yeah, we would advise him against that, though. Gemma, thank you so much for being with us. We look forward to seeing a lot more of you throughout the new season in La Liga. And that new season is just around the corner. Round 2 games here, just to confuse you a little bit, but it's mandatory rest for World Cup players. So we will see Espanyol against Real Madrid and Elche against Barcelona. Coverage of both matches beginning at 3 p.m. Eastern. Ali Moreno on his way over to Spain to bring it for us. Okay, top 10 men's club managers in Europe. According to ESPN.com, it was our Tor Christian Carlson who put together the best managers in the men's game. He spoke to people within the game, CEOs, sporting directors, chief scouts and coaches for some added input. We're bringing you the top 10 of his list right now. You can check out that article to see all 30 over on the website. Ali Moreno has got a bit of a
before I get to the list, and I don't pretend to do people's job here in the production department, but I do believe that we could have presented that list a little bit better, from 1 to 10 rather than from 10 to 1. Because number 1 is Luis Enrique, lost over here somewhere bottom right. Again, I don't want to do people's jobs. I'm just merely suggesting that it could have been better. That's all. It also could have been better, this list, because I'm not even going to focus on the top 10. I got to number 18, and you lost me already. They have an 18, Diego Simeone. Now, say what you will about Diego Simeone. A lot of people hate the way that Atletico Madrid plays. And when I say a lot of people, Stevie Nicol is one of those people.
Because a leopard doesn't change its...
Yes, right? But what you cannot deny is that Atletico Madrid, let's just go back to last season. Champions League semifinal. And again, whatever you may think of the playing style, look at what Diego Simeone has done at Atletico Madrid and how he has changed who they are. He made Atletico Madrid a team that was relevant and continues to be relevant across Europe. That was not the case when he took over. Historically, he is the best manager they've ever had. And again, we go back to last season, semifinals of Champions League. You cannot tell me that there are 17 club managers that are better than Diego Simeone. As much as I don't like the way that they play at times, as much as I criticize some of the approach, there are not 17 managers, club managers, better than Diego Simeone in Europe. I'm not buying it.
I'm very curious as to what you say to this, Stevie, because it is well documented how you're not usually the biggest fan of Diego Simeone. But do you agree with his placement on this list?
Yeah, I kind of look at it from the wrong way around, probably. I agree that some of the names ahead of him are a bit of a head scratcher. You know, and I think, honestly, one of the biggest for me is Unai Emery at number 5. 5th best manager on the planet. Unai Emery's had 2 big jobs, Arsenal and PSG, and neither of them really worked out. And the other jobs, everybody's saying how great they've been, but it's with teams that are not expected to do well, but teams that end up winning the Europa League.
But would another
at the end of the day,
with those
if you want to talk about the Europa League, you cannot hide the fact that the Europa League is a second-rate tournament. So if you want to be the guy who wins the second-rate tournament 1,000 times, that still, to me, doesn't make you the number 5 best manager on the planet.
So he's put it down to coaching acumen, style, people management, communication, achievements, and the X factor. You could argue that other coaches wouldn't have done that with the teams that he's taken over.
Yeah, but it's the level that he's done it at that is my point. He's done fantastic jobs with teams that weren't expected to do what they did. But does that make you the 5th best manager in the world? I don't think so.
Not for you. What about
Not for
you,
me.
Don?
No.
No, I disagree with Stevie. I think from the criteria point of view, I think he fits a lot of that criteria. I think Cesc Fabregas in 15th, I think he's trending in the right direction. Arne Slot 8, Vincent Kompany 9. That one's the wrong way around to me. I think Vincent Kompany could have been a couple of spots higher up than Arne Slot. But I think on the Unai Emery one, I think when you talk about the criteria, if it's just on what you've won and it's not obviously elite Champions Leagues and Premier Leagues or leagues that you've managed in, then you might be a few spots lower down, if you like. But I think on the criteria with player management and recruitment, well, no, because the criteria is the criteria. So I think Unai Emery comes 5th on what you're picking him for. So I tend to agree with that. I think Vincent Kompany should have been ahead of Arne Slot. And as I said, I think Ali makes a good point about Atletico Madrid and I think Fabregas on 15th, I think is trending in the right direction.
Ali, if we may, on the top 10 now, what stands out to you?
Did I tell you that I didn't get past 18?
I just remembered one as well. Sorry, Ali. Didn't.
Okay, well, while he's
No, it's all right. Look, I think. See, here's where I have, and I understand where Stevie's coming from with Unai Emery. You look at what Xabi Alonso was able to do at Bayer Leverkusen. And while I suppose on paper Unai Emery, of course, has been a longer club or a manager at the club level for longer than Xabi Alonso has, you can't deny that you have a historical, because it was, a record-setting season with Bayer Leverkusen, and that's winning a league, winning above Bayern Munich, winning with a lesser team against Bayern Munich. You do that in the manner in which they did, going unbeaten, and you kind of go, that has to be more impressive than some of the other things that are going on with some of the managers in that top 10 list that are ahead of Xabi Alonso. And I'm not defending Xabi Alonso. I'm just, what are we placing importance on? Yeah. And so, as it pertains to achievements, then winning a Bundesliga season against Bayern Munich in the manner in which Leverkusen did is more impressive to me than Unai Emery winning a Europa League. That's where I kind of go on that.
So,
it's been
Don,
restructured by the way.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
I've got a question for Don. You will know more about Gasperini than me, right? You watch Italian football more than I do. But Gasperini's never had a plane or a boat outside of Italy, and he's never had any of the top jobs. How is he the 6th best coach on the planet?
Well, I think the job that he done at Atalanta was incredible. But if you're going off titles, Stevie, then I think you make a valid point. But Kay, do me a favour, read out the criteria for me.
Coaching acumen, style, people management, communication, history / achievements, and X factor.
That's why the likes of Gasperini is high on that list. That's
what
why.
X factor?
What
X factor?
No, because Stevie.
What X factor has Gasperini got?
He's got X factor. But what I'm trying to say is, when you look at the criteria, he's done the most amazing job without winning titles. If your criteria is number 1, winning the very biggest of silverware, then that list would be completely different. But these guys on that list in the top 10, I disagree with Arne Slot. That's the standout one to me. How Vincent Kompany's not ranked higher than Arne Slot, I'll never know. But I think you have to look at the bigger picture, like the criteria sort of indicating that behind the scenes, the job that these guys are doing are absolutely amazing.
I'll tell you what.
I don't want to dwell on this, but Christian Kibu, number 10 in this list, best manager in the world. hasn't been around long enough to be number 10 in this list.
Just won a title with Inter.
But again, hasn't been around long enough to be a number 10. We're talking about the best 10 managers in the world, and Christian Kibu is in that conversation.
Who's the manager of Bodo Glimt?
Well, it's not Christian Kibu, I'm going to
Because
tell
they
you
knocked
that.
his team out. You know, if you're talking about the best managers in the world, we should be. Number one criteria has to be winning. Has to be winning. There's 1,000 coaches around the world in the middle of nowhere who have done incredible jobs at man management and getting players for their team and the whole thing, but they don't win nothing. They get nothing. But they're great coaches. If we're talking about the best coaches in the world at this level, it should be about winning. It's not about being a nice guy or a bad guy or he's such a tactical guy. At the end of the day, it's about winning. And if you're in the top 10 and the best managers on the planet, you better have some trophies sat behind you when you get the picture taken.
Again, Stevie, and I digress because we focus on the top 10. Ruben Amorim was in this list.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was.
How does he make the list?
Yeah.
How does he make the list?
No
I
idea.
mean, what? Come on now.
Michael Carrick was in the list.
I know.
Number 21. He's had 3 weeks at Man United.
Manager, seeing as though we want to give him a little shout out.
What was his name?
Kjetil Knudsen.
Yeah.
Okay, well, put him in.
Well, what he did. I mean, who did it?
Put him in.
Who did a better job last year than him?
Well, not Ruben Amorim, I'm going to tell you that.
Semi-final. I mean, come on. So, yeah, that's my problem with this list. It's about winning.
If you'd like to get as annoyed as Stevie, maybe you can go and check it out over on our website. But make sure to stay up to date with all the latest on our YouTube channel, including
cheers. Thanks for
Extra Time, every single day. Okay, that's all we've got time for on the latest edition of ESPN FC. Stick around though, Extra Time is on the way next. Don Hutchison is joining these two to answer your questions. See you over there. Welcome into the latest edition of Extra Time. We have LA, Stevie and Don here with us. Hello, Don. Don's had a haircut by the looks
He's
of
a
it.
bit flush looking than Don, isn't he?
Tell you what. He was at the golf course
I've been
today.
playing golf, so I'm a bit red. Stevie, can I blow your mind a little bit?
Go on then.
Oh, here we go.
Right, no, just going back to that list, I was intrigued to see where Jose was on that list.
This is top 30
And he was down at
managers.
24th.
24.
So, according to that list, Kivu, Slot, Glasner, Iraola, Maresca, Hertzler and Eddie Howe are all better than Jose Mourinho. Right. Nope.
He's brought it back up. Stevie was livid in the show about this top 30 managers list that's over on our website right now. Furious. Okay, this is off.
Is there any other words you can think of? Livid, furious.
Apoplectic.
Beside himself.
Dan Thomas
Raging.
is first in tonight, just to get you a bit more raging. It's okay, Dan Thomas. He's not having a go at you today. At what stage did Don realise it was an eclipse and not just nighttime?
Wow.
Wow. I've got to say, reading the news and watching the news today, my house was petrified. Like my 3 lads weren't allowed to look at the sun in case they got blind. Like everyone was petrified in the house. Is that true? You look at the eclipse and you go blind?
Well, you are supposed to look through glasses, yeah.
I don't know.
That was an awkward silence there, Don. That was an awkward silence. Okay.
Game's gone.
Stevie, congrats on being in the Mourinho documentary.
Oh.
Don, do you think they'll ever pull a quote from you for the Victor Osimhen documentary?
Well, just get me in. I'll rave about him all day long.
News to me too, because the clip that I got sent was Sid Lowe talking.
Yeah,
you speak after that.
Oh.
Oh. Words of wisdom, no doubt. Yeah, right.
To be fair to our producer, the clip that we got sent, we watched from start to finish and it missed that bit out. It was just the Sid bit.
Maybe for a good reason.
Again, the production department today coming up short.
No, somewhere Sid Lowe's got the full version and he has to listen to Stevie's part too. Yeah. All right. Don, percentage chance Enzo Fernandez is a Man City player by deadline?
Yeah, I fancy this is going to happen. I'm going to go 70-30, he moves.
Okay.
I just heard from our director that she should not be included in the mess in the production of the show today, and that she has been outstanding, which I agree.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed?
Aye.
Okay, unanimous. For Ale, given the current squads, who's winning La Liga, Real Madrid or Barcelona?
Well, and I think it's something that Stevie alluded to in the show, is that it feels like Real Madrid is taking steps forwards and Barcelona is taking steps backwards, and now you can start building an argument that Real Madrid seem far more settled than Barcelona do. And it's not something that I would have said coming into the season, but given what Barcelona don't have as of right now, and their main piece is Julian Alvarez, they still don't have Rodri. It's a conversation, but it still hasn't happened as of now. So where we sit right now, it feels like Real Madrid has an advantage over Barcelona going into the season. I'm not sure that that's going to last. But that's what the question says, right? That's that full disclosure. Yeah. That's a disclaimer.
In the current squads.
The current squads. I'm saying Real Madrid.
A word of caution, though. If you remember, we all said the same thing when they signed Mbappe. Right, it seems like Real Madrid have got themselves right in a good position. Signed Mbappe, there was a couple of others, and we were like, "Wow, this is Real Madrid." And then guess what happened? Bit like Liverpool as well. We sat here last year going, "Oh, Liverpool, they've just signed Isak and this guy and that guy," and then so just a little word of caution.
Yeah, I'm just saying the disclaimer of the question is right now.
Yeah.
Right now. It doesn't mean that when we go to select who's going to win the league, I'm going to say Real Madrid. But where we are right now, Real Madrid are building a very strong argument.
Go ahead, Don.
I just can't believe when Gemma was on before and we were chatting, potential plan Bs. The best number 9 that I think that's out there that would fit Barcelona's style is João Pedro from Chelsea. I cannot believe that he hasn't been linked. Lautaro Martinez is another one from Inter who I think might be a plan B, but João Pedro to me, he looks like he plays for Barca. He could be incredible for them.
I think he'd been linked, but the new contract put paid to that, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with you, Don, but Chelsea couldn't let him go. Otherwise, they would be up a gum tree.
Don, which of these players is most likely to put on much better performances this season compared to their performances last season? Isak, Foden or Palmer?
Well, I thought,
easy,
when the question was coming in, I thought Vert surely had to be one of them. I'd give Palmer a bye. I'd give Cole Palmer a bye. But I definitely think the other two, Isak and Phil Foden, need to do more. Isak has to prove now that he's match ready and he's match fit. He's more or less wasted a season.
Not the question, huh?
And that was his own fault by not doing a pre-season last year at Newcastle. That to me was a daft move where you look at the bigger picture if you're Isak and you know the chances are you're going to go to Liverpool. Do your pre-season with Newcastle and be match ready and fit ready to go to Liverpool. And because he didn't and he wasted his pre-season, had a knock-on effect, he got injured. All right, it was a bit of a freak accident, a broken leg or a broken ankle. But I didn't think he helped himself. Phil Foden's the one where you think, he's brilliant. He's world class. Can Maresca be the man to get it out of him? Because he's got all the talent in the world.
Don, bad news. While you have made a compelling argument, that was for a different question.
Yeah.
This question is asking something entirely different, so you might want to read that one again.
Is it?
Yes.
Go on, hang on.
Which of the three is going to be better?
Who's not going to be as rubbish as they were last year, basically?
Well, that's what I was saying. That is exactly the question I answered. Cole Palmer will get a bye, because I didn't think he was disastrous. Isak was terrible, and so was Phil Foden. So it's between Isak and Foden.
No, that's not the question.
Am I reading that wrong?
Yes.
Pick one of the three. Pick one of the three to be much better this season than they were last.
Who's going to be better than they were last year?
Foden. But I was just giving you. I was giving you
taking
context.
the scenic route.
Well, but,
okay.
So do you think Foden was worse than Isak last year?
Not far off, mate. Yeah, because the talent that he's got. Yeah. I mean, as I said, Isak broke his leg, so he does get a bit of a bye there. Foden, I'm sticking with Foden because I think he's brilliant. You can do better.
I still don't think he knows what question he's answering, but
He couldn't read it because he didn't put his eclipse glasses on.
yeah, that's why. That's why.
All right.
Yeah.
Stevie, can you explain Liverpool's wins?
Hang on, whoa. Do we all think Phil Foden was good last year?
No. Who was the worst?
Do we think Phil...
Who was the worst? It's got to be Isak.
I think Phil Foden.
You think Phil
Isak
Foden?
broke his leg, Stevie.
So what?
Isak broke his leg. You can't play good if you got a broken leg.
Yeah, that wasn't the question
That's not
either.
the question either. That's not the question either.
I don't. Right, listen. I'm saying this for the last time. I don't care what the question is. The answer's Phil Foden.
I guess.
Thank you, Don.
Fair enough.
Stevie, can you explain Liverpool's wing situation? Gakpo, Munoz and Rio are all best on the left. Then they consider Barcola, who is also best on the left. What's the plan?
Well, there's clearly not a plan. that's the answer. There isn't a plan.
No,
It's
you're
a bit
wrong.
like-
The answer is Phil
Didn't
Foden.
read the
It's a
question.
bit
What's
like
the plan?
it's a bit like Real Madrid as well, isn't it? Like they got Vinny, they got Mbappe and Diamandi, and they all want to play on the left. So I've no idea.
Okay.
I will say though that obviously he thinks, judging by pre-season, Inga Moore has played quite a lot on the right-hand side. So my guess would be that Inga Moore is going to start on the right-hand side. That would be my guess.
Okay, while we are talking about Barcola, this is a quote from the PSG president, Nasser El Khelaifi, saying, Don, want to know what you think about this. We're working calmly. We don't talk too much. We do. I can't say whether he will leave or not, but today he is a PSG player.
Yeah, diplomatic. I think the fact that they've signed, I think three wingers in the last sort of 7 to 10 days suggests that he might be on his way. But Liverpool, I don't think, can get to 150 million quid. So that's where the stumbling block comes. If Liverpool have to pay the 150, they've got to pay it. Otherwise, Khalifa and PSG have got that much money and that much quality, they won't sell him cheap. That's when Arsenal might come into the equation.
You want me to read the questions now? Okay, since you can't hear.
That would be great.
Can you please pass me the piece of paper, Stevie? Yeah?
The question is for you.
All right. We're now fixing, as again, the production issues continue.
Ali, you have ran the show
Sharing the roles
tonight.
around.
We are now fixing her IFB. The battery has run out. So, should I ask you the question, Steve?
Go on.
Expect to be on the show today?
No, I did.
Oh, no, we already did that one. She didn't cross it out. So, the question is for me, Steve. So, can you read
All right,
it?
I'll read it.
Yes.
Okay, here we go.
The last one, Steve.
Ali,
Yeah.
this one's for you, Ali.
Oh, well, thank you.
If pineapples shouldn't be on pizza, is it okay to have it in your hamburger?
Okay. First of all, I don't have a problem. I don't know why this is addressed to me. I don't have a problem with pineapple on pizza.
Yeah.
You can have it. It's a little sweet on the.
Sorry, I forgot I was meant to be listening to you.
Yes, yes.
Sorry.
You know what? She's done. I'm talking to Kay now.
You, I just couldn't hear Don.
All right.
I was going into Dan mode there,
Yeah.
because when he presents, he doesn't listen to words you say.
Tell you what, talking about being fuming, I'm fuming now that you said it's okay to have pineapple on a pizza.
What's wrong with pineapple on a pizza?
Look, I'm not. I don't order it myself,
Okay.
but I don't pass judgment if somebody else does it, because
Are you
pineapple
having
on pizza, much like me, is sweet and salty. You know.
They're so sophisticated in Middlesbrough. by the way.
Yeah. But certainly, 100% certainty.
Phil Foden.
Phil Foden, and it's not going on my burger either.
Yeah, I don't get that one.
It's not going on my burger. I can accept it and let it pass on the pizza, but not going on the burger. No.
What about a gammon
Absolutely
steak?
Huh?
A gammon
Gammon
steak?
steak has a pineapple, doesn't it?
Gammon steak, pineapple.
not? What is that? What is a gammon steak?
No. You don't know what a gammon steak is?
Good.
Well, I am asking the question because obviously I do not know what it is.
How do you explain a gammon steak to somebody?
The gammon steak.
Ah, it is, isn't it?
It is.
Porky, from a piggy.
Okay, all right. I'll eat pork too.
No, it has a pineapple on it.
That does come with pineapple.
I'll eat it with the
In
pork.
fact, that is the only way to have it is with a pineapple.
I don't believe I would eat it on a burger.
Right.
No.
Where is our resident Italian, Don at all. Hutchison on the pineapple on a pizza.
Yeah, see, yeah, Donadoni says no. I am of the school of thought, though, where just live and let live. Put whatever on your food you like. If you like it, you like it, but it's not for me. You can't be putting pineapple on a burger or pineapple on a pizza.
You're asking the wrong person because Don won't even put cheese on his burger, so...
Oh, no, it's only melted cheese. Isn't it? Just he doesn't like cheese that's hot and melted.
Yeah, hot cheese.
Hot cheese.
So the lukewarm cheese is all right. The hot melted
cheese
one.
Isn't melted yet.
No.
What's the difference?
Like cold cheese. Like cold, when you have cold cheese on a cracker,
Yeah.
and you have a bit of cold cheese and a cup of tea, you go, yeah, that's nice.
Right.
But start putting like hot cheese on a burger.
I know, but what about the
ruining
cold?
the burger.
What about if you put the cold cheese on the hot burger?
Then it might start to melt.
It turns into hot cheese, you numpty.
Well, no. Well, I'm just asking. Hey, I'm not the one who's making a differentiation between hot cheese and cold cheese. You are.
Yeah, done.
I tell you what the answer is.
Phil Foden.
Phil Foden.
Yes.
Of course it is, because a leopard never changes its spots.
Yeah.
And now we've come full circle. We're done here. We will be back tomorrow with a lot more. Thank you so much for being with us. Make sure to join us every day.